Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today, as I was opening my mail, I got some really exciting products in PR, one of them being from Fenty. Fenty Beauty just released these Gloss Bomb creams. They sent me all the shades, and it got me thinking. I was like, okay, I really want to try out those Gloss Bomb creams. And then I realized I've never done a full face of Fenty Beauty. And I think it's because when I tried out Fenty Beauty a couple of years ago, they didn't have all of the options. They didn't have bronzers then, they didn't have a mascara, so I realized that I need to do a video like this. I'm personally really curious to see how I like a full face of Fenty, since I have so many new products from them that I really truly enjoy and love. So we're gonna be going through everything. A lot of these things I'm super familiar with and really love. A couple of things are brand new to me, like these Gloss Bomb creams, and they also just launched 2 new shades in their Diamond Bomb highlighters, which I loved the original so much. So I'm really excited to try out those couple of things. So let's just get right into it. I wanted to do my eyes first. So I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty Brow Pencil. This is called the Brow MVP. Now I do receive PR from Fenty now, and they sent me this, and I think it's a little bit too light for me. This is like the blonde shade. Yeah, it's called Dark Ash Blonde. So I'm gonna fill in the brows with this. I can't remember how it looks on me, but I'm pretty positive it's a little bit too light. We're just gonna go with the flow anyway though. And I'm just gonna fill in the brows with this. So obviously it is a little bit too light, but I think if I build it up enough and kind of give it as much depth as I can, it will work. And you know, to be honest, I don't think I'm that familiar with this brow pencil, mostly because I don't think I reach for it because of this shade. Now that I've applied it, I feel like I could get away with it more than I thought I could. I would definitely choose something much deeper for myself personally, but since this is all that I had, I think it's gonna work. Okay, so my brows are pretty much filled in the way I want them to be. I actually like this little brush spoolie more than I thought I would. I think it's so cute, and it actually blends out the product and diffuses it nicely, especially in this inner portion here. I think it looks so nice. I used an exfoliator when I washed my face this morning, and some of it got stuck in my brows, so I'm trying to brush all of it out. That always happens to me. I always forget to like rinse my brows out really well, but I think they're good now, so. Let's move on to eyeshadow. I want to use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer. This is actually a really nice eye primer. I definitely find myself reaching for tinted eyeshadow primers a little more often because I do have quite a bit of discoloration on the eyelids. I like one that has a little bit more of like a base color to it, but I am pretty familiar with this, and I actually do really like it, and I feel like it does help with the overall longevity of the eyeshadow and with eyeshadow application, especially when you pair it with Fenty Beauty eyeshadows. I mean, obviously they're probably formulated to go well together, but they really do go well together. But you can use this with any eyeshadow, obviously. I'm just blending it out with my finger all over the eyelid. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry down slightly before actually going in with eyeshadow. For eyeshadow, I wanted to use one of the Fenty Beauty Snap Shadows. They actually sent me all of their shadows when they first launched, and then they recently launched 2 more shades. There are 10 palettes total. As I was going through them, I really wanted to use the palette number 2. I have never used this one before, and it seems like something that I would really like because of the cool tones and the purples in it. So I don't know why, but this one really caught my attention today. Some of my other favorites that I was going to try out, I actually haven't tried too many of these yet. I really want to, but just haven't gotten around to it, is this one right here. This is the shade 7 Cadet, and it just has really cool fall tones. I should have reached for this in fall, but I kind of forgot that I had that one. I also really love the tones in the peach palette. They have basically something for everybody, which is really nice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start out with this shade right here. This is called Wife It Up, and I think this would be perfect to apply in the crease to just start out this eye look. So I'm just gonna start to bring this in the crease, moving it back and forth with a fluffy brush. Once there's much less on the brush, that's when I'm gonna start to kind of buff it up toward the edge of the brow and fan it outward as well. It really grips onto the Fenty Beauty eyeshadow primer, so that's why I prefer to kind of build it up slowly versus applying too much in one spot, because the eyeshadow primer is so grippy, which is a good thing. You want your eyeshadow primer to grip onto the shadow, but I just try to work up in light layers when I'm using this. I'm adding a little more to this inner portion here, and then again, once there's less on the brush, I'm gonna kind of fan that up toward the brow to create even more of a gradient. Next, I'm actually gonna take this shade right here. This is called Upper Class, And I'm going to take that on a flatter brush and I'm going to start to build that up on the lid. And once I get to the crease, I'm just kind of moving it back and forth to blend those two colors together. Same thing over on this eye. Next, I'm going to take the darkest shade in the palette right here. This is called Gettin' Toasty, and I'm going to take this on a Morphe M433 brush, tap off the extra, and I'm wanting to kind of smoke out the very edge. So I'm going across the lash line at a diagonal and kind of buffing that in like this. And then once there's less on the brush, I connect it to that outer V just to kind of create that depth. And I'm going to build that up until I get the intensity that I want. So I'm actually going to take the same brush and dip into the purple shade called Hey Auntie. That's so cute. I love the names of these. And I'm just going to kind of blend the dark shade into the pink. So kind of apply it right on this outer third, but not quite as far out as that first shade we applied. Basically just to kind of blend that matte shade in with the pink shimmer on the lid. I'm taking what's left on the brush and I'm wanting to kind of create an even more defined crease. So I'm taking the brush super lightly and just kind of running it inward a little bit more than where I had it before. I'm also going to kind of bring it up a little higher than I had it before on this outer edge. But I'm using a super, super light hand just with the shadows that's left on the brush to blend it. Okay, I really want to see if this works. So like I said, Fenty recently came out with 2 new shades of their Diamond Bomb highlighters, which I am a huge fan of the original, which was the shade How Many Carats. Here's what it looks like on the pan. You can't really tell on camera because the lights are so bright, but in person, it's the most beautiful, delicious diamond highlighter glow. So they have another shade called Rosé Rave. This one looks stunning. I wanted to maybe try to put this on the eyes and see how it looks. The other shade they have is Royal Icing, and it is more of like a golden champagne. Look at the reflect on that. So pretty. So I definitely think I'm going to use Rosé Rave. I don't know if you can really see this up close or not, but I'm just going to dip my finger right into the pan. It has like a cushy texture. If you've ever tried this, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this one has pink and gold reflex in it. So since it had a little pink, I thought it might be pretty on the eyes. So I'm just going to layer that right on top of where we applied that pink shimmer shade initially. And I just want that extra glamour on the lid. I love to use these on the face as well. I turned on my phone flashlight to try to get you to see like the fine glitter reflex because these lights are just not going to do it justice. I feel like these Diamond Bomb products look the best in kind of dim candlelight because that's when the light really, really catches those fine glitter pigments. But it still looks pretty underneath this light. Just know that like it's so fine that you need either dim lighting or like golden hour sunlight to see it in its full glory. So I'm going to take the tiniest bit of the original shade called How Many Carats, and I want that on like the very, very, very inner portion of the eye, just to kind of create even more of that gradient that we have going on. So just right here in this inner portion. Okay, I'm going to go back into the number 2 palette. And I'm going to dip a small brush into this shade at the top. This is called You There. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this in the inner corner, just for a little pop of pink. I'm also going to take what's left and apply it right underneath the brow, just for a soft shimmer there. Now that I have most of the eyeshadow done, I am going to kind of bring the eyeshadow up a little higher just with a fluffy brush. Okay, I really like how that looks. We're going to go ahead and apply mascara. I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Full Frontal Mascara, and I'm just going to be applying this on the top lashes for now, and then we will move on to Complexion. All right, so now we're gonna move on to Complexion. I wanna use my favorite primer from Fenty. This is the Soft Silk Pro Filter Hydrating Primer. I own the other mattifying primer as well, which is a good primer if you prefer something more mattifying, but this hydrating primer is so good. I'm a huge fan of it. So I'm just gonna apply this all over the skin with my hands. It really does hydrate the skin, but it doesn't leave the skin feeling oily or greasy, which is so nice. For foundation, I'm gonna be using the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. I'm in the shade 150. I've always wanted to try their hydrating foundation, but haven't gotten around to it. Have any of you guys tried their hydrating version and do you like it? I would love to know in the comments. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this on a brush and I'm just gonna start to feather this out starting from the center of the face and blending it outward. This is such a good, reliable foundation. It's definitely more full coverage, but I don't mind that, especially for more glamorous looks. But it wears really, really well on me. and you get good coverage without building it up too heavy. So it doesn't feel like you're wearing a lot, even though, again, it gives really nice coverage. Okay, so once the foundation is pretty much blended out, and it blends out so nicely with a brush, I almost don't even need a sponge, but I'm gonna use a sponge anyway. I'm gonna take the rest off the back of my hand and press everything else in with my sponge. I just realized that Fenty Beauty totally has brushes and sponges, which I really do enjoy, but I forgot to grab them to prep for this video, so just know that I really do like the tools that I've tried from them so far, especially the thing I'm looking for isn't over here, but their concealer brush is amazing. I love the Fenty Beauty concealer brush. Oh, wait, here it is. This one right here. I'll definitely use it so I can show you guys how I like to use this with concealer. It's amazing. It's actually one of my favorite brushes. All right, so now that we have the foundation on, I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Fenty Pro Filter Concealer in the shade 150. And I'm gonna use this under the eyes and also down the center of the face to highlight. All right, and now I'm gonna take that concealer brush. This is the Fenty 180 concealer brush, and I'm just going to start to blend out the concealer underneath the eyes. I just love the shape of this concealer brush. I feel like it perfectly drags and distributes. Concealer under the eyes. I also love to use it for concealer on the eyelids. If I'm using concealer to prime the eyelids for eyeshadow, it's so good for that. I feel like this concealer kind of dries down fast, so I'm trying to blend things out as much as I can before it dries down. So I'm just going to go back in with my sponge to finally kind of press everything into place. So next we're going to bronze up the skin. One of my favorite bronzers is actually from Fenty. This is the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer. I'm going to use a couple of shades, but the first one I'm going to use is the shade Amber. And this one is so great for contouring since it has a little bit more of that cool undertone. So I'm just going to take this and start to kind of shape the areas where I want actual contour. So under my cheekbones, I'm also going to put a little bit out toward the edge of the eye right here, just to kind of lift the eye a little bit more, and then a little bit on the sides of the nose as well, and then underneath the nose, and let's do underneath the lip. It looks pretty crazy right now, but I'm actually going to take my foundation brush and just start to blend that into the skin, using what's left on the foundation brush to kind of help not make the line too harsh, if that makes sense. I'm just going to blend upward. And I'm just gently taking the foundation brush and pressing on the nose contour. And then I'm going to go back in with my sponge and just gently press over everything again, just to make sure there's no harsh lines. Then I always like to add a warmer color. This one is Butter Biscuit. It's so good. So I'm going to take this on a brush. And this is the one I want to use on the forehead. I'm also going to use it on the cheeks. I'm just layering it on top of that first shade. So I'm applying it a little bit higher to bronze and add that warmth where that first shade just kind of added a little bit of structure. I'm just going to kind of pat it across the nose too. Then I'm going to take what's left and just go along the entire chin and jaw. And then of course, I always take my sponge and just gently press over everything one more time just to make sure it's all as blended as it can possibly be. All right, next we're going to set the under eye area. I'm going to take the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Setting Powder in the shade Lavender. So I have two shades that I really like. I like the shade Butter for more of like a everyday situation. I mean, these powders honestly are what I prefer to use for more of a glam situation just because they are a little bit heavier. But the Lavender is really great for brightening under the eyes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a little bit in the cap, take it on a small brush. Before I press this into the skin, I'm just going to make sure the concealer under my eyes is blended out. And then I'm just going to take a small amount of this and just press it into the under eye area to set and to brighten. I'm also going to use that to set the T-zone. Basically just everywhere we applied concealer because that's where I want the most brightness is in the center of the face. And then I'm actually going to leave the rest of the face unpowdered for now. I'm going to finish up the eyes first, then we'll move back to complexion so that we can match like the blush and everything else. So I actually thought it'd be kind of pretty to take this purple shade. And I'm just using a smaller brush and I'm just going to line this across the entire lower lash line. I thought it would be a fun way to kind of utilize that gorgeous purple shade in the palette. And I'm lining the entire lower lash line from the inner portion all the way to the edge, connecting it to the existing shadows. Then I'm going to take that same brush and dip into the deepest matte shade in the palette. I'm going to tap off the extra. And I just want this to be a little more defined on this outer third right up against the lashes. Then I'm going to take the brush we were using in the inner corner earlier. And I'm going to take the same shade we used in the inner corner. And I'm just going to kind of reapply that right here, and then drag it into this lower lash line and combine it with that purple shade we just applied. I'm just taking the brush we used with the setting powder and kind of gently running that right up against the edge to make sure there's no harshness and it looks blended. And then I'm just going to take that same Fenty mascara and apply it to the lower lashes. So now that lower lash line mascara is on, I'm just taking my sponge and pressing really gently over the areas we just powdered, just to get rid of any powdery finish. All right, actually I'm going to set the cream bronzer with one of my other favorite Fenty products. This is their powder bronzer. It's the Sun Stalker Instant Warmth Bronzer, and my shade is Into Sun, and it is so beautiful. I love this stuff so much. So I'm actually gonna take that on a nice big fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna kind of press that into the areas where we had just used the cream bronzer, just lightly, so that it lasts all day long. All right, next I'm actually going to apply highlighter because I'm going to use a cream blush later. So I wanted to use this one right here. I love this highlighter from Fenty. It's the Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighting Duo, and I personally really love this half. I think it's called Lightning Dust. I'm just going to take this on a highlighter brush and just apply it to the high points of the cheeks. And I'm kind of being a little gentle with this formula just because I'm going to add a little bit more on top, so I just want a small amount to kind of create a base. Then we're going to dip into blush. I love the Fenty cream blushes. These are their Cheeks Out cream blushes, and I found this color that I've never used before, and I felt like it would be really beautiful with this eye look. So this shade is number 9, Cool Berry. My personal favorites are 1, Fuego Flush, and number 2, Petal Poppin'. Those are the colors that I get the most use out of, but I'm excited to try this one. Look how pretty this is. So I'm just gonna dip my sponge into it directly. I'm gonna make sure to kind of press it into the sponge on the back of my hand before actually going into the complexion. And then I'm just gonna smile and start to apply that onto the cheeks, really gently. That is so pretty. This one has a little bit of a sheen to it, which I love. So once I've applied that, I'm just taking the sponge again, flipping it over and kind of pressing around the edges just to make sure it's like seamless, moving in from the concealer and powder into the highlighter, into the bronzer. So it helps to just kind of go around the edge with the sponge I've been using. I'm also going to take the powder brush and just make sure I didn't come in too far here. I might have a little bit, but that's okay. Just kind of mattify it a little. So just for fun, I am going to take this new shade in the Diamond Balm, and I'm going to apply this onto the high points of the face. So I'm just going to actually take this on my finger, and I'm just going to build that up right here. It's actually adhering pretty well because that cream blush underneath. I really only use these Diamond Balms for special occasions because they're definitely not something that I would wear in the daytime, and I only apply them just on that very high point, but they just make the best final touch to a more glamorous look. So I wanted to try that one out on the cheeks. It's really pretty. Again, it has some pink reflex in it, so it really blends in nicely with the blush, I feel. I'm just gently adding a little more blush just to the very apples of the cheeks. Then I'm going to go back into the Kilowatt highlighter. I'm going to take that more glittery shade, and I love to apply this in the inner corner. So I'm just going to layer that in the inner corner just to brighten it a little bit. All right, I'm just wiping off any foundation on the lips so we can try out those new cream gloss bombs. I'm so excited. So they launched with 5 shades. These officially launch on the 10th of December, I believe. Let me open all these up so you can see all the colors. So here they are out of their boxes. I'll go one by one. So we have this shade right here, which is called Cookie Jar. It's a really beautiful kind of terracotta burnt orange. Then we have Fruit Snacks, which is a gorgeous deep red. Mauve Wives is this one right here, which is obviously a mauve. I think this one will look really good with the makeup look I created today. Then we have Honey Waffles, which that name is just the best. I'm really excited about that color too. Then they made their famous Fenty Glow shade in this cream formula. That one would also look really nice. I think I'm gonna first try out Mauve Wives and we'll see how that looks. I have not put these on. I've been tempted, but I wanted to save it for this video. So again, we have the Doe Foot applicator. The packaging is the exact same as their original gloss bombs. So I'm just gonna apply this on the lips. So this has 0 shimmer in it. It's much more opaque, but it feels so nice and comfortable on the lips. Similar to the formula of the original gloss bomb, it's just really pillowy on the lips, really comfortable. It has a little bit of a different scent to it. I actually really like that. It's almost like tart in a way. It's hard to explain, but these feel exactly like I was hoping they would. So this is the color Mauve Wives. I think that's so pretty on the lips. I'm actually gonna try out Fenty Glow just because I'm curious, and then I'll choose one to end up with. So here we go with the Fenty Glow shade. Ooh, this one's so pretty. That one is gorgeous. Fenty Glow is the first shade that they launched in the original Gloss Bombs, and it's such a universal color. I feel like this is going to be the exact same situation as far as a lot of people being able to wear this, and the undertone and tone being very flattering for so many people. I'm very excited about that. You know what? There's only 3 shades left. I'm just going to do like a mini swatch party. Even if they don't match my eye look, I just want to see what they look like on the lips. The formula feels so nice. I'm going to try out Honey Waffles next. This one is much more warm toned, so it does not match my eye look or any of my makeup right now, but I wanted to just show you what it looks like on the lips on me. So there's Honey Waffles. That's really pretty. Next, I'm going to try Cookie Jar. My lip lines are a little messy, so that one's really nice. Again, it does not match my eye look or anything, so that's kind of throwing me off, but that'd be really pretty by itself, like with a more simple eye look and super fresh skin. Last but not least, I'm going to try this one on. It's called Fruit Snacks. That one's pretty as well. I would definitely use a lip liner with this one because it is a deeper shade, but it's so pretty. It kind of has like a raspberry undertone. So it's not really a true red. It's like a red berry. It's right in between. Okay, I really liked the first 2 shades I tried on. I'm just going to use a lip liner. This is not from Fenty. It's from Milani, but Fenty doesn't have lip liners yet, do they? I don't think so. I feel like I would have definitely purchased those if they did. I'm actually going to be a little bit extra. I'm going to start off with the shade Fenty Glow. That one is probably my favorite. But I really wanted to add a little bit of the Mauve Wives shade on top because I feel like mixing them would be the perfect shade for this look. Yeah, I love how it turned out when I mixed the 2. I definitely have a little dryness on the lower lip, which is kind of throwing me off. I should have probably exfoliated my lips before trying these because it does kind of emphasize it a little bit. My lips are so dry though right now. The top lip looks so smooth because there's not any actual visible dryness on that. I love those 2 colors mixed together. Okay, all right, I'm adding another color of cream blush just to kind of add a little more pink to tie in the lip. This one is called Crush on Cupid. I literally took the smallest amount and just layered it on top. All right, now I'm just gonna touch up the brows. I'm also gonna step back and assess the situation and just add a little bit more of the powder bronzer to the forehead, a little more to the cheeks to kind of warm things up. Now, I don't own a brow gel or a setting spray from Fenty Beauty, so I'm just going to use the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. And I'm going to skip setting spray today. With the cream and everything, I feel like everything looks pretty dewy, so I feel like I don't really need a setting spray. But I would love to try the Fenty setting spray. If you guys have tried that and if you like it, I would love to know in the comments. All right, so there you have it. This is the completed look using all Fenty Beauty products. I love how it turned out. It's just such a reliable brand in my opinion. Like, I love just the vibe of Fenty Beauty. It seems like every time they launch something, I get excited, which honestly is pretty rare these days with all the brands that are out there. For a brand to be as consistent as Fenty is with their creativity and just the way they inspire me personally to want to create with makeup, but their formulas are also very approachable. So even if you're a beginner, I feel like you could use any of these products. But I just love how everything turned out. The Complexion products, it's been a while since I've used them, and I forgot how flawless the foundation is and the concealer. These are definitely some of my favorites when it comes to creating a reliable, long-wearing, glamorous look. Obviously, you could wear this for every day if that's more your speed to have something like this. Somehow the foundation still looks fresh on the skin, but again, it has that coverage that I look for and love. Honestly, I can't remember how I feel about the Fenty mascara. If it smudges or flakes, I will definitely make sure to let you guys know. I'm not gonna be able to wear this for too long though, since I am filming this video in the evening. So that's that, but I do know that I really like how it applies upon application, so that's always good. Out of the things that were new that I tried today, I am still very excited about these cream gloss bombs. My top 2 shades are absolutely these 2, Fenty Glow and Mauve Wives. I love them by themselves and mixed together. They're such a pretty color. I'm also equally as excited about the new launch of the Fenty Glow shades. So I only tried one today, but I'm excited to be able to try Royal Icing sometime. When I do more of a warm toned look, I'll definitely reach for this one. And yeah, everything else that you guys saw me use, I'm pretty familiar with and really enjoyed because I have been enjoying these products for a while. So I hope you guys like this video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it from me today. I would love to know in the comments below what one brand tutorial you would like to see next. I have a lot of fun filming these one brand videos, so let me know who you would like to see me try a full face of next in the comments down below. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!